are the obvious if I don't touch on them in the emails, and I have them right in front of me. So just bear with me. This has kind of been following me all along, whether it be Crank Media, whether it be the venture that I'm working on with STG. None of these companies are connected. They're not connected. Maybe you guys own shares in them. I don't know. But they're not connected in any other way other than I am the CEO. So it's going to be a little redundant. So as a current shareholder of HPIL for numerous months, which I thank you, what date does one have to own shares of HPIL in order to receive the new shares? So my plan was simply, because of the direction we're going with HPIL, which is technology, artificial intelligence, obviously with all the EV and the gaming, it's a mouthful. And the NFTs, we've had some of the issues, which I know I've been beaten up about, and rightly so, on getting them up and running. So I thought I'd move the NFTs over there. But the reason I thought of that, and this is the honest truth, was that there could be some benefit to the HPIL shareholders. So we haven't come up with mathematically yet. We signed a deal memo, and we're working on what it would mean for you guys, the shareholders of HPIL. So again, it's first of all, there's no date. It's as of the date that the transaction goes through. So let's say, for example, it goes through next Thursday. That's the date that we'll pull the shareholders list. So you could own so many and get so many for Stargaze. I do not have that number yet. The reason for that is I was trying to give some asset to HPIL shareholders, and then B, I was looking to bring shareholders over to Stargaze. I apologize. I had one emergency call. Give me 10 seconds. Thank you. So that was the plan there. It is a letter of intent. I feel strongly about doing this. I've had some people saying, why, what's going on? And then the opposite. Maybe that brings up my philosophy, which I keep getting beat up on. And I know some of you have said to me, why are you engaging in all that? I promise I'm not going to engage in that anymore. It's just driving me crazy. But what I want to say is, I don't have any ulterior motive other than to build the company. I have my own money in there, and I've said this over and over again. And there are some people that think I can build an electric car in 3 weeks. There are some people that I can build the next TikTok, which is Zippa, in 3 weeks. And we are not only aggressively working on these projects, I'm hiring weekly people that are joining the team. LT was in here this morning with the new office that, some of you been on Twitter, we took over the other half of the floor where a mining company was, and we've just completely remodeled it. And LT's bringing in some of his engineers. We're bringing in more gaming engineers, and on and on and on. So we're just doing the best we can, and it's working. But and I think I'm guilty. I think I'm guilty of setting some timelines that I think were obviously not as realistic, but not for any other intention other than passion, all the things that I've been saying, and you can take it or leave it, but that is the truth. So I'll move on. The next one is, again, do you still plan on HPIL to acquire Crank Virtual? The answer is no, and also about the Stargaze shares. So I've just explained to you what's going on with the possibility of the Stargaze, and I don't want to get in. This is not a Stargaze conference call. It's an HPIL. Again, Stargaze. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. Is Zippa going to be limited just to gaming streamers? or are politicians and such allowed. Trump was banned from Facebook, and all of the above. This was built because the TikTok, Triller, the two top ones, are predominantly music. And I have been in the music and television film industry for close to 30 years. And the gaming industry, by far, take the revenues from film, music, and television, and the gaming industry surpasses it by far. So this was built as a TikTok for gamers and expanding on all of that, all of the culture, all of the other, which does involve music. I mean, to be honest with you, many of the major labels now, including ourselves, the small record labels, are getting very heavily involved in music in the video game. So there's lots of synergy going on there. And that's Zipper. To give you an update, so as I think I said on my last conference call, we brought in a couple of top engineers, one of them from Microsoft. They work out of Calgary. They work externally. Phenomenal people coming along. Again, I know I said a couple of weeks ago, I really do believe that in the next few weeks, we will have something to show you. We feel really good about it. It's just not a TikTok. It's got many other great attributes to it that have not been put out there before. Not sure what happened there. There are many people telling me how to run the company, what I should do, what I shouldn't do. Until they, pay for it, then I'm going to do what I think is right. This is a long how I should market it in China and such and such and such. Am I still thinking of the NASDAQs next year? I think of NASDAQ every day. And just while we're on that subject matter, so everybody knows that we filed got all the filings in. The stop sign was removed, and just to get it clear, and I've had many conversations with the OTC, who I have a couple of really good relationships there. We are not in any jeopardy. We have the yield sign, but I believe the majority, if not all of the brokerage firms, E-Trade, Ameritrade, and such, can now trade the shares. As you can well imagine, excuse me, there was many companies that had to do the same thing that we did, and they're reviewing them. As of now, we've not gotten any review, which is a good sign, I believe. But even if, and I've asked this pertinent question, even if we get 1 review or 10 reviews, we're not in any jeopardy. We are OTCIQ verified, and we paid for it, but we're verified. And then all we would have to do is answer those questions. So we're in no jeopardy of any delisting of any kind with HPIL. But the plan is obviously to get the yield sign off ASAP and move on. Will the stock become pink on the OTC any day? Well, I kind of just explained that. Do you foresee the stock price rising to $3? Can't answer that question. It would be phenomenal if it did. That's my plan. So a lot of people up, the company has no revenues. Well, I'm not sure if I know many companies in such an aggressive fashion and building the amount that we're doing that all of a sudden is profitable in the first 4, 5, 6 months, especially with the CRAP crap that we had to go through to clean up this company, let alone it's just not possible. And we're not doing that kind of product. We're building the electric vehicles, the gamings, and everything that everybody knows about. We're planning on being absolutely profitable. And I think with everything that's going on, I don't think it's that far away. Am I planning to reduce to 60 billion? I've said it from day one. It's a ridiculous number, but it's a number I have to deal with. And the last thing I need to do is do anything like that. I dropped it from 200 billion. I've already admitted that it was simply posturing, because I was just new kid on the block after a month, and we didn't need 200 billion. Again, the 60 billion shares. Am I going to be on the QB? That's the plan. I've been on there before, and I absolutely plan on doing it. Can you detail your objectives for Q4? Kind of goes to what what I said. So, and I get beat up about this. We have 5,000 square feet in Kent, Washington. We have delivered quite a bit of equipment in there. We have a couple of engineers right now setting it up, and there's about another 3 or 4 that start on October the 1st. Top engineers that have worked hand in hand with a company that we've discussed. So I'm simply going to admit this, and I can't bring it up anymore yet because there are certain legalities to it. And I'll just simply say this. We've not only signed an NDA, we are a client and have signed an agreement with ANSYS. We have to follow their guidelines of how we release what we do, but we don't just have an NDA. We are a client of ANSYS who deal with our engineers almost on a daily basis. Matter of fact, Michael Torrey, our senior engineer in Kent, Washington, has met with the ANSYS people in Seattle for dinner and other occasions and talk on the phone quite a few times before we've even gotten into the new building. End of story. That's ANSYS. And hopefully you'll be getting a lot more in the very near future. Okay, good. Okay. I don't want to say they're silly questions, but could HPI still stock go to $10? Okay. Can you explain a little more about Medusa? What's its practical use? So Medusa is a intelligence software, AI software that was put together approximately 10, 12, 13 years ago, I think. I'm coming in somewhat on the back end. It is a LT project who is working with some other people that I am told putting in quite a few $1 million, but it was all driven on LT, who you know is our CTO, Chief Technical Officer, and creator of the Apogee powertrain management system. I find it pretty amazing. But again, it's a project that is in aggressive mode to build. I'll put it in layman terms because that's a little bit out of my pay grade. We believe that it's an artificial intelligence that can well overcome many other things that are going on in the AI world, whether it be the search engines, whether it be the I gotta be honest with you. It's I know the business side, but I think you're gonna be hearing a lot more about that. So I'm not trying to be evasive. I just simply don't have that information yet. But I can tell you that it's been worked on, and it looks pretty unique from the outside. From the inside, I'm told it's pretty amazing. When does the manufacturing start on the Apogee D7? So it is, but that started when LT came on board. He didn't bring in a car. He brought in the powertrain management system that generates the power and the no need to plug it in. I can tell you that we're working on many patents that looks like we're going to get some confirmations on in the very, very near future. I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 weeks that I would be notifying everybody of. And a couple of them are pretty, and this is not dangling the carrot, some of them are pretty mind-boggling on what we're going to be able to achieve with that powertrain management system. It was myself who said, again, as a layman, hey, let's just build our own electric car and we'll put it on top of the powertrain system. So that's how the Apogee system the Apogee vehicle was created. It was my idea on how we bring in. It started out with 10, and I brought it down to 7 to correlate with the Apogee D7 name on the not groundbreaking on the disruptive partners that are involved in the Apogee car that I'm developing. We're not able to put out those 7 names yet. I'm hoping that we're very, very close. I think we're probably upwards of 45 days from that happening. SIPA, I've already talked to you about. NFT dividends, if that goes through, I've talked to you about. I actually did do that, hoping to benefit the shareholders. Again, taking the heat that I've been taking, I thought that could be something very unique. But I am trying to put the numbers together with the attorneys, if it looks that it's a viable venture for a win-win for everybody, which is what I'm trying to do, and I think it can be, then that's where we're at. The letter of intent is signed, and I'm hoping to have something back where I can announce in the next 7 to 10 days. We talked about ANSYS, great partners. Again, it's a broken record, but we talk about the 14 billion shares, and you can take what I'm about to say as careless or as constructive. I don't care right now because there's nothing I can do about it. That's what I was given when I took over the company. If I'm talking about building the company, then whether we do something to structure it for everybody or we leave it as it is, I truly don't have that answer. I think that decision will get made forward by itself. And I'm not being naive when I say that. Have I discussed it with attorneys? Have I had many conversations with investment bankers? Absolutely, because I take heat for it every day. Could it have been 7 or 8 billion shares or it was before? Absolutely, and that was what I thought it was until these convertible debentures came and slapped me upside of the head. And again, as I said, the majority, if not all of those, are long gone. So that's it. The pink, I've already explained to you what's going on with the OTC. Well, here's here. Are all the notes done? The answer is they're all converted. Yes. Again, I'm not trying to do any dilution. Doesn't help me. If I diluted it, what difference would it be? I just take more heat. So no, I'm not. Realistic time for the NASDAQ, I don't know, but it's definitely in 2022. I think that is it. I'm going to do something very dangerous, and everybody gets worried when I do this. So I think I can. And if it gets out of control, I'm going to take 15 minutes again, where people can, God knows what's going to happen. So don't blame me. And I'll shut it down in a heartbeat if it gets out of control. So let me call my technical guy because I'm not sure how to do it. Oh, unmute all. Oh, I think, you know what? I think he's in there. Can anybody unmute or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, John Baldino, not driving.
Hello. Hello.
All right, please do the best you can, just one for one, and let's take 20 questions. And again, if it's out of control and it's rude, I'm going to shut it off. But
Mr. Brown, I'd just like to start with a question. Could you just elaborate a little bit further on the partnership or client relationship with ANSYS?
So it's a contract that we have a client. It's not an NDA. That's already long gone. It's a client relationship that we have with them, utilizing their software to build our system and simulate our system. I'm leaving it up to them when they want to, and if they're going to, put this out. I think we've got to build the relationship a little bit further. A little bit further. It's in early stages, but we are in full swing with them in regards to the building of the powertrain. Again, as I said earlier, we're dealing with their engineers on a daily basis.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for answering the question.
You're welcome. Wow, this has never happened before. Nobody's
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
How many patents have been filed, or are you planning to file?
They're in the so we'd made filings. They came back with, they want some more specific drawings on what we're doing. So approximately 17.
17 patents.
Yeah, and a couple of them are pretty mind-boggling, and that's not, again, a carrot, but a couple of them involve not the automobile world, but the residential world. But I can't talk any more about it until I'll be able to announce it when it's actually legally, properly accepted through the patent office.
Perfect.
Mr. Brown?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chuck. Go ahead.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
I had a question about your the motorcycle. Do you plan on putting the Apogee drive train onto the motorcycle, or keeping it like the original engineer designed it?
Well, I can't talk too much about that. We're in very close conversations. I'm going to be guarded here with the family of Michael Sis, very close to two boys. We're still in discussions on how that would happen. So I do not have a signed deal with them yet. I think there's an extremely strong possibility that will happen in the next week. They're very protective of their father's CADs and the bike and all how we use it and such. That's the best I can say. We've got a great relationship with them, and I believe if they're doing anything, it will be with us. That's my belief, and I think I'm hoping to have some much better news for you with that in the very near future.
Mr. Brown, for the D7 with the 7 partners, is the plan still for each of the partners to take an equity stake of some sort, or is it
Absolutely, and they will all have different materials, whether it be an entertainment system, whether it be a piece of metal, whether it be a tire, whatever it be. Absolutely, yes.
So, is ANSYS still potentially positioned to be one of those 7?
No, ANSYS has never been one of the 7. That wasn't the plan. ANSYS are our simulator and how we build the car. The 7 partners are the disruptive partners. ANSYS has never been a disruptive partner per se in my mind. Oh. That's not why they came on board.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Brown, quick question about the patents.
Yes.
Are you applying?
Go ahead.
Apple's been trying to make a car for like a long time.
Were they utility patents or design patents that you're applying
Both.
for?
Both.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When
Mr.
could
Brown?
one expect Apogee?
Yes. Sorry?
When could one expect to buy an Apogee D7?
A vehicle?
Yes.
Listen, from what I think we're we're going to have some very unique simulated versions of the vehicle, I believe, by early to mid next year to March, between March and May. When will that vehicle be made? I think we're a couple of years out. I mean, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. That's wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Quick question. So with the PRs, are there PRs that are being held back until we become current?
No, not at all. You know me, I'd love to get stuff out there. So no, they're not. And to me, this is not sounding right. To me, we are current, meaning that we made the filings. I've already explained that there could be some reviews. As of now, I've not gotten any. And I was told when I filed with the OTC, and I've had quite a few conversations with them, that they're running around 7 days behind on any responses. We've not gotten any yet. And again, to repeat myself, if we do get them by an email tomorrow morning, and there's 1, there's 2, there's 10 reviews, we will fix them. That will not jeopardize our position. We did fulfill, in order to qualify on the OTC, we did fulfill that. That's it.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Yes. Guys, don't talk. You gotta, if you're asking. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Ahmed.
What I wanted to ask was about Zipper. I completely agree.
Guys, we're all talking over each other. Okay, Ahmed, go ahead again. Sorry.
Back it up. Yeah, Mr. Brown.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to ask was about Zipper. I completely agree with you that there is a lot more money in the gaming sector. However, I always hear you compare it to TikTok. What is your plan to start to get gamers migrating from Twitch, which is where a lot of the streaming and the actual revenue is being done through the gaming sector?
So I'm a very lucky father that has some pretty big time ties into all the top major gamers on Twitch, from all of the big gaming companies, whether it be FaZe, whether it be Optic, whether it be all of those Luminosity. We have a plan, as if I was in the music industry like I've been for 30. We have a plan to attract all of those. Matter of fact, that process is in motion. And the minute that we kick off with Zipper, we're not kicking off with a couple of people. We're kicking off with some pretty serious players on there. And we're just, this has never been done before. There's never been this kind of thing. And what I've seen with what we're working with our programmers, it's got some very unique features that encumber all of the elements of the Twitch. And if any of you guys are gamers out there, is the now it just went out of my head. There's a chat room that they use. So anyway, Zippa is actually being very well thought out, and the reach is going to be pretty phenomenal. I wish I had that kind of reach in the entertainment industry.
I know none of this stuff.
Mr. Brown, this is a follow-up question.
Oh?
Yes, I'm here.
I hate when he does this.
So you said you're talking about the Zippa bringing on all of these people. What kind of payment? How are you going to pay these people? This is a legit question.
Say that again. How are we going to
pay these people? These people are like on Twitch. They get a lot of payments.
Well, we will be using a lot of the same type of system. I mean, I'm just going to say it simple. My son receives large amounts of money from Twitch and YouTube. It's it's still the same operating premise.
A chicken burrito and a beef burrito.
So guys, I'm going to kind of shut it down because I kind of see where it goes. I do my best. I'm not a professional speech
Yes,
person.
yes.
Mr. Brown, I just have one question, Mr. Brown, if that's okay. Just
Absolutely.
One last question.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, now the 2019 convertible note, how come that wasn't detailed?
Say that again.
The 2019 convertible note, how come that wasn't detailed on the disclosure statement?
Well, I'd have to look at it. Which 2019 convertible note?
The one you tweeted about.
I think well, I know this. Every note, anything I've tweeted about was on the filings. So I'd have to look and see what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, if you look at them.
Okay, all right. Well, Joe, feel free to call me tomorrow and I can address that question because everything was covered. Matter of fact, if anybody knows when I started tweeting, which is, I've not done well at.
Cannot open this up.
We went through this considerable amount of time and the attorney took an extra 10 days just because of making sure that we covered everything. And again, he was absolutely in contact with the transfer agent on many occasions confirming. So if you're talking about that, what was the amount, Joe?
No, I'm just like, none of the disclosure statements show notes. It shows that it's clear. It's a clean show.
All the notes are converted. There is no notes.
But still, it would still be detailed on the disclosure statement or the number of outstanding shares that were changed. Okay,
all we had to do was file for 2 years, and that's what we did. Those notes were converted. Those notes were from the past filing. So
in June.
In June of 2019.
But they were converted in June 2021.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I know that our attorney had many calls with the OTC and also with the transfer agent. So I'd have to get, I'd have to look at what you're talking about. And I don't mind you calling me tomorrow and I'll find out exactly what you're talking about. But I know that we covered that as best as we could. And again, the OTC are the ones that will be doing it. And we had those, not myself, but the attorney had those conversations with the OTC. So we filed what we believe was current.
Mr. Brown.
Go ahead.
Hello?
I have people saying that I hate when he does this. So I'm going to take one more call and then I'm going to say thank you to everybody.
Hate it.
I understand you hate it. Go ahead. Are there any more questions? Otherwise, I'll hang up.
Hey, Mr. Brown.
Hi, Wilmart.
I wanted to know, can you announce any of the 7 partners?
No.
Partnership?
No, I can't because it's inside info. No, I can't. We're not there yet.
Okay. And
I'll be
What
the
was
first
the big announcement?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think they said if there's a big announcement, a huge announcement.
Okay, so I've made announcements and there are many more to come as I've been answering again over 100 emails every week, which I said I wouldn't do. Listen, you could be mad at me because I'm cutting it off, or you can support me. I'm here. We're strong. I have a phenomenal team in this office. We're expanding with a rapid growth more than most people could ever think of. And I'll leave it at that. And I thank everybody for the strong support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Have a
You're
good day.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.